you guys? How are you all? I hope you all are having a great Tuesday. Today we are going to talk about habits and how to develop them. Guys, I feel like we have a very beautiful and an amazing relationship with habits because habits are always created after doing one thing regularly after a regular period of time repeatedly and forcing our mechanism and forcing our psyche to go into an inertia, to go into a loop, so that we feel like our being is not complete without doing that particular thing. That is how I define habit in mentally for myself. And there are a few habits that I'm trying to inculcate for myself because I think it would make me a better version of myself. I think it would make my life easier, my life better, and it would enrich me in so many other ways. Some of them are related to my personality, some of them are related to the kind of woman I am, some of them are related to my skill set. More or less, they are related to myself as a human being and bettering myself at that. Let's just dive right in and take a look at all the habits that I'm trying to inculcate personally in my own personality. But before that, if you like my content and if you're excited about this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell icon down below. And yeah, let's get started. So, you guys, I am actually in the process of developing 7 habits. Literally, there are 7 habits that are very, very close to my heart that I'm in the process of developing. And I feel like they all cater to a different version of myself and a different area of my personality and my life altogether. So, before I start listing down all the habits, we need to look into how habits are formed and how a particular human being is supposed to develop a habit in the first place. And what is my also method for that? I feel like, as I said earlier, habits are something that we do repeatedly. Habits are something that I feel like if we need to train our mechanism, our body, our psyche, that this is something that you need to do maybe every day or weekly or monthly or yearly, whatever is the mechanism that we are trying to put in place, so that it starts feeling like a new normal. Now, for creating those habits, there is no right or wrong way, but the way or the mechanism that I go for is something that I have borrowed from a very, very effective book that I read in the past, which is called Atomic Habits. This book actually talks about the mechanism in which that you can use to devise a foolproof plan so that a habit sticks. And even if you have gotten out of the loop, you can still come back to it and fall back into the right place where that habit sticks for you. So basically, what you have to do is you have to forget about right or wrong and just do things, just practice it. For example, if you want to practice music, just practice music. Just choose a particular time of the day and just sit and practice music. Don't think that you will be perfect right out of the bat. You will make a lot of mistakes, but instead of being frustrated, just don't expect from yourself that you will be perfect from the first day. When there will be no expectation, there will be no frustration. Second, make it extremely specific. I think especially in the initial days of making a habit or making sure that a habit sticks, you need to come up with a specific schedule, because right now your body is not accustomed of doing that thing. So you need to devise a mechanism for that. Like, for example, don't say that tomorrow morning I will practice music. Give yourself a time. Okay, 6 a.m. I'm going to practice music. But if I have to practice music at 6 a.m., then I might have to wake up at 5 a.m. If I have to wake up at 5 a.m., I need to sleep at 10 p.m. And because of all that, according to that one particular habit, your entire day will be designed around that. And you will be putting in place specific mechanisms. You need to be very, very specific, and hence that habit will stick, because then it will start making sense in your entire routine. And 3, you need to make sure that there is a reward attached to that particular habit. Set yourself like smaller goals, and whenever you achieve those goals, reward yourself. It's like giving candy to a kid. You need to make sure that the outcome of first of all, why you're making sure that that habit sticks. You need to make sure that in your mind, which always looks for hows and whys, there is a very favorable outcome at the end of the tunnel. which usually a lot of habits lack, and that's why we fall out of the loop very often. For example, if you're trying to learn Spanish or French, for example, but you're not doing it for an exam, you're not doing it because you want to, visit Spain or France or anything. You're just doing it because you're interested, you're curious. The driving force of that interest or curiosity will only last for a very, very limited time. After that, it will die down. So you need to make sure that there is a reward at the end of it. So, for example, if you say that I do Spanish ABCs or Spanish numbering, and as soon as I'm done with it and as soon as I've perfected it, I'll buy myself a dress or I'll buy myself a book, something like that. So it will make your habit sticking very, very appealing and satisfying. So do that, and these are the 3 cardinal rules that I stick with and I follow in my personal life to make sure that a habit sticks. Now we have gotten all those basics out of the way. Let's dive into what all are the habits that I am in the process of making sure is inculcated in my life. Let's go. Number 1. I am really, really trying hard to develop a very healthy and sustainable relationship with food. So, you guys, I have never really consciously put a thought into what is going into my system. Really. When I was a child, my mother used to take care of all of these things. She was very, very conscious of my diet. Not really like fat or calorie wise, but she would make sure that I eat my vegetables and I eat my fruits, and I had fruit juice and I had milk, and I had like very limited chai and coffee and very limited junk food and stuff like that. I was allowed like junk food once a week or something, not because I was supposed to be of a certain weight or anything, but because she wanted me to have a healthy, balanced lifestyle. That's why I never really had a problem with weight or obesity or anything till I went to law school. In fact, for the majority of law school, I was fine. But as soon as I think my fourth year hit or something, I started gaining weight. It's because I stopped consciously worrying about what I'm putting in my body. And that was something that was very harmful. I ate wherever I felt like, I ate whatever I felt like. And that is something, that's a relationship that I do not aspire to have with food anymore. Now, I'm going to make a separate episode on what I eat in a day and when I started losing weight last year, how I changed my diet and what all changes I affected into it. But if I have to sum it up in 4 major changes that I have done and that I'm trying to, or in the process of making sure that they stick and they are permanent, is that I'm trying not to have a midnight snack. I'm trying to chew my food very, very properly because I basically inhale my food and it's not really a good habit. Um, I'm trying to have as less of packaged and processed food as much as I can. Like, I don't really have to have biscuits with chai. I don't really have to have namkeen or snacks or any kind of chips all the time when we go out for a trip, and even at the evening times. These are habits that we very subconsciously develop because we see other people doing it. So I'm trying to avoid these things as much as I can. I'm trying to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables daily, on a daily basis. Of course, I need to make sure that regular intervals, I do allow myself to have something bad or something out of this diet, something that I'm not technically allowed to have. And it's also fun, right? Like, because I'm allowed on a regular intervals to have like a pizza or a pasta or anything, it keeps things in the mix, and it's really, it's really helpful that way, that I'm not restricted and I don't feel very like claustrophobic. You need to have a very healthy and balanced relationship with food, is what I have understood from this entire practice. Food is not only a fuel that helps you sustain your life, and food is also not something that you're living for. It needs to be somewhere in the middle. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. Number second, the second habit that I'm trying to stick with is workout. Now, again, this is also something that I've had a very messed up relationship with since I was a teenager. I am not a very athletic or an outdoorsy person. I don't play any sport, I don't dance, I don't do aerobics, I don't do any of that. And sometimes when you, either as a career or as a hobby, pick up these things like sports and dance and stuff like that, you unknowingly exercise. And that's why people say that sports is the best form of exercise, just play a sport. um, but I am not someone who does all that. I also have a knee injury which restricts my movements to quite a bit. So because of all of that, I feel like I have the fact that I gained so much weight is also because I was not athletic and I was not moving as much as I should have. I honestly feel that whatever you do in your 20s, your 30s and your 40s are going to be a reflection of that. And I do want to lead a healthy life. I do want to be healthy for my life, for the most part of my life, all right? I don't want to I don't want to take my health lightly. I want to be sincere about that. And because of that, I need to consciously make sure that I get up and do things. Literally, there is no part of my life actually that requires movement, like constant movement. Okay, that is like an exercise. I'm a lawyer. I sit on that desk and I work for the entire day. And my hobbies also include reading and writing and watching TV and music and stuff like that. Chess. So all of these things you can just do from a table or from one particular spot. So I had to really motivate myself to move around. Um, I am also trying to move my joints as much as possible. So do like joint specific exercise. So none of my joints are weaker and are latent for that matter. So I'm trying to inculcate that. I'm trying to motivate myself to move around as much as I can and be as proactive and mobile as much as I can. Number three, I am trying to inculcate a habit of treating nice things nicely. So let me get this point straight, all right? You are allowed to have nice things only and only if you are ready and willing to treat them nicely. See, it's a complicated one, of course. I like nice things, not luxurious things, but I do buy things like clothes and bags and books and stuff like that. And I feel like they need a lot of maintenance. I don't really care about other things, but clothes, books, and bags are something that I would really like to buy and cherish. I never grew up having a lot of luxurious things, all right? It's not like I was deprived or anything, but I grew up in a very simple background, simple family. And even now, I don't have a lot of nice and luxurious things, but I do own things like having a mobile and laptop that I have bought from my own hard earned money. And from your own hard earned money, I think your attachment with the things that you have bought from that money increases. And hence, your responsibility and sense of responsibility also increases towards your non living possessions. So that's what I have tried to be very, very careful when it comes to maintaining these things, like charging my devices and making sure that their maintenance is fine. Like I have my MacBook for 2.5 years, touch wood, there is no problem in it at all. My phone has been with me for more than 3 years and no problem at all. So I'm trying to take care of these things. I'm trying to maintain these things because मुझे पता है अब उसमें कितनी मेहनत और पैसा लगा है उसको लाने में. Similarly, with my clothes and bags and shoes, they're not individually very, very expensive, but when you take a sum, you will see that they are expensive. And it's not about expensive also. If I've bought a piece of clothing, it's because I really like it and I have a certain look in my mind and I don't want it to go waste. I'm not really responsible now, right now when I'm living in my parents' house, I'm not really responsible in washing them or ironing them. But when I was on my own, I was responsible like that, and I took a very, very good care of all of that. I made sure that I knew that which particular fiber went with which particular type of detergent. How should I wash them? Should I put them in the machine, or should I get them hand washed, or should I get them dry clean? I took a very good care of storing my bags properly because sometimes when you hang the bags with their straps, those straps go weak and they start coming out of the hooks. And all of this I don't want. I didn't want some of the leather or any kind of the material of the bags. If you expose them to air too much, it starts deteriorating. So I'm very, very careful about these things now. I don't put my bags on floor and all of those things. So yeah, and I only allow myself to have nice things if I'm willing and I'm able to treat them nicely enough. Number four. Okay, this is a bit of a controversial one, but hear me out. I'm trying to read less. Now, it's a very funny one, and I'm not going to talk about it much, okay? But I read a lot, and I sometimes say to people that my default mode is reading. If you just let me be, I'll just read and I'll not do anything. And even on days when they end, I feel like I will go and I will do something else. But what I do is I just sit and read. I read for like 2-3 hours straight till I go to sleep, which is not okay, because then what happens is that I don't have enough time for other spheres of my life, and there are other things that I would like to learn and do in my spare time. So I'm trying to read less, and I have a ceiling time that I've allotted to myself at least every single work day. So when my working day ends, I just don't have to spend it reading. I have to divide it, maybe watch a show, maybe sit with my parents, maybe call up my friends, maybe do something else. Do something else like creative, work on YouTube, anything, but just don't read. So yeah, trying to do that. Hope that makes any sense. Okay. Number 5, the fifth habit that I'm trying to inculcate, and I'm very, very particular about it, learning Spanish actually. I started learning Spanish in the beginning of 2020, I think, when the lockdown started, a little before that. And I was able to continue it very well for the first 6 months. But then I fizzled out, and then I again came into the loop, and then I'm trying not to fizzle it out again. I really love that language. I think I know as much as Spanish as probably a fifth grader or a fourth grader would know. But yeah, I know my ABCs. I know how to write it. I know how to like basically communicate with anyone who's speaking Spanish. But I do want to be very, very like proficient with it. Sometimes I might be speaking and then I lose some of the words in between, and I'm like, okay, isko kya kehte hain Spanish mein? And then I have that, brain fart moment, and I want to perfect it as much as I can. And as I was saying, because I'm reading so much at the end of my day, I forget to do other things, and I would like to specifically have, if nothing, at least a 20-minute, half an hour Spanish lesson every single day. So that's what's something, I'm trying to, put it in my brain, that every single day when you go and sit in a corner at the end of the day, when you have 2-3 hours to yourself, maybe 2 hours to yourself, 1 hour to yourself, you're going to do that 20-minute, half an hour lesson of Spanish. So yeah, that's something that I'm putting in my mind. The sixth habit that I'm trying to inculcate with a lot of vigor is to keep myself updated. Now, I am a lawyer, correct? And it's a very, very important part of my job to keep myself updated with the laws and all the things that are happening around me. So it becomes more and more relevant now for me to be very, very, very conversant with whatever is happening, not only in the field of law what that I am practicing, but in general. When I was a kid, I never really had a habit of reading newspaper daily, or making sure I know everything that's happening around me. But now with all these apps and all these, like my phone literally being my one and all savior, I feel like I have put Google alerts of things that I need to know about. I have downloaded all the apps. So as soon as with Instagram and WhatsApp, as soon as I wake up, the TOI app and other apps, they give me important updates. And whatever I find interesting, I just go and check it out. And even I have spared like 15 minutes, 10 minutes in the morning that I just check out news apps on my phone and do nothing else. And that has really, really helped me. So yeah, downloading news apps plus having Google alerts has really, really helped me to keep myself abreast with not only legal but anything important happening in India or around the world. And number 7, and the last one, is a bit of a weird one, but hear me out. Is respecting women around me, especially the women that don't work. Feminism. I call myself a very, very proud feminist, but feminism is not about just one type of women getting all the kind of respect. It's about respecting women for their choices. And yes, a lot of times society, system, patriarchy forces women to make choices that they probably wouldn't have made with free will. But whosoever doesn't work around us, I understand maybe they were never given a choice to educate themselves that way, or to get out in the real world and realize opportunities in the working sector. um, I have gotten that opportunity. It does not mean that I get to disassociate with women who don't work, or disrespect women who don't work, especially my mother. Nothing can be more telling of my character if I just take my privileges very, very for granted and insult everyone who has not had those privileges and who has made or has made different life choices than I have. So, respecting women around me, no matter where they come from, no matter what they do, no matter which field or industry they work in, or no matter if they work as a homemaker, I want to respect them regardless of all of these choices, regardless of how different our lives have turned out to be. I want to respect them for their caliber, their potential, their minds, their hearts, and if somebody is putting honest work anywhere, they are worth appreciation and they're worth my respect. So that is something that I'm trying to inculcate, and I'm trying to build my character that way. So yeah, I hope you liked listening about all the 7 habits that I'm trying to inculcate. I'm working very, very hard and honestly towards these. I would like to admit, and I'd like to believe that. So yeah, please tell me, what are the habits that you are trying to make sure that they stick and become a part of your own system, and tell me what is the system or mechanism that you have in place so that your habits stick. Let me know. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next episode. Till then, like, share, and subscribe, and keep coming back to our channel. I hope whatever we talk about really, really resonates with you and interests you.